Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. It's Paula here with Paula's Imperfect Plans, and today I am setting up for you my March 22nd paycheck budget. So let's jump in. Any background for any new folks, we are both employed full-time. We are paid hourly, but we both work 40 hours a week consistently. I am expecting $1,265.38, and for my husband's paycheck, I'm anticipating $1473. $1473.10 for his wages. We won't have any mileage for that check. We will have some like high yield savings interest, but I don't budget for any of that because I just don't know what it's going to be when that amount comes. So our minimum that we're expecting to have this for income this pay period is $2,738.48. So then if we come down into our fixed expenses, usually plan to do $100 a donation of some sort. Our HELOC, which is our main debt, I always plan $500 for the minimum payment, even though I know it's not going to be that anymore as we're paying it down. But the minimum payment is dependent on something about like 1% of some balance throughout the month. So I budget $500 for it. And then, you know, I plan to make an extra debt payment. And then whatever the difference is between this and the actual payment, I put on as a principal only payment. So I will pay $500, you know, like that money that's adjusted there will just go down into the extra debt category instead. I've been trying to keep it at that since the debt has been our focus. The minimum payment will be less than $500, but I will still use all of that $500 towards that loan payment. So our cell phone bill, I budget $197 for that. Life insurance is $131 per paycheck. Netflix, oh, I changed how I do this. So Netflix is nothing for this check. Amazon Prime is nothing for this check. The before school program, I am anticipating $30 for that bill. Vehicle registration, I put away $50 per month, which I do during this paycheck, which is the second paycheck of the month. Internet, I am anticipating $29.67. So I put $25 aside for it for the first paycheck of the month, and then the remainder of what is due comes out of this check, which should be $29.67, as long as nothing has changed on the bill. And then so I am not paying the kids' insurance premium with this check. I did a bunch of switching in my budget, actually, just picking and choosing. So I was paying Amazon Prime and Netflix with the second paycheck because it comes out early in April. But then I'm not seeing it come out as I'm closing out this budget, which has bothered me. But before I didn't have like as much of a buffer and some of that stuff. And now like I really do. So I'm going to wait. It'll come out early in April, but I will count it with my first April check. Even if it comes out before that, it's not going to in any way, you know, like strand me or mean that I don't have money in my account, if that makes sense. So I usually pay it with this check, and I'm moving it to the first check. So I've actually like skipped the payment for March because I paid March's subscription for it with the end of February's check, and then I will pay April's subscription in April. So I'm just kind of changing how I do that. So let's get in here and figure out our fixed expenses. So looking at that, it means that our fixed expenses should be $1,037.67. If I subtract that from my income, that should leave us with $1,700.81 left to budget as we go down into our variable expenses. In our variable expenses, I plan to pull $280 for groceries every 2 weeks. I pull $100 for eating out, $50 for beauty, $50 for drinks, nothing for households, $140 for allowance, which is $70 for each my husband and I on whatever we would like to spend it on. Work meals should be $0 this paycheck. I'm not pulling family fun anymore. Car wash should be $15. Amazon subscriptions, I'm planning on $106 for that, and nothing for massage. I do need to update these sheets going into April, but I had these printed out before I changed them, so you'll see some different things then, as far as I'm no longer pulling these things as variable expenses, and I've moved my fixed expenses around a little bit as I'm constantly learning more about what works best for me as I've started this channel, started this zero-based budgeting, and really working on my accountability. So, variable expenses. $741. If I subtract that from the $1,781 that was left, that leaves us with $959.81 to take with us into our sinking fund category. So for sinking funds, I don't think I've changed much about that this time around. $25 goes into the high yield savings towards Christmas. $50 gets put away to save for LP, which is our winter heating cost. For my travel sinking fund, I'm doing the 100 envelope challenge, and I believe I'm doing planning on doing envelope 43 this time. I put in that same account $20 towards kids. I am putting $25 towards vehicles, and then for my emergency fund, I'm doing the 52-week challenge, forwards and backwards, which means $53 goes towards that. I'm looking here and trying to figure out why. Oh, okay. So then I'm putting in towards our vehicle gas, I'm putting $60. I was a little confused as to why I was doing 60, but I had to cut somewhere for some reason. And this is the check that I would usually put $100 in with gas, but I'm sitting quite well in our gas sinking fund right now. So not that I'm not putting anything in, but that was a place where I thought it would probably be okay to cut this paycheck. Towards medical, I have been putting $40 per pay period into the high yields. And towards tattoos, $100. And then that leaves, well, should leave hopefully $233 into our cash savings challenges and sinking funds. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so that comes to a total of $649 in sinking funds, excuse me. So if I subtract $649 from the $959.81 that we had, that leaves $310.81 to bring down into other. And here under others, you'll see I have YouTube TV listed. I didn't have room over here under fixed expenses. So for a couple of months each year, I usually try to do some sort of subscription type situation so I can watch some of the March Madness stuff. And I'm a big Iowa Hawkeye fan. Iowa women's basketball has been doing fantastically. So it's going to be 2 months of YouTube TV subscription that I'm paying for. I'm going to put $40 aside, which is about half of what will be due in April. So I'll do half with this check and then $40 with the first check in April to cover that. So that other cost is $40, and that's actually what I cut the gas for. So $40 is total in other, and we had $310.81 left over after our sinking fund. So if we take 40 out of that, that leaves, where am I messing up? Same thing happened last time. I was off 50 bucks. Why am I off 50 bucks? Okay, so that leaves $270.81 down here for to take into the extra debt. The extra debt, oh my goodness. I just figured it out. Okay. Well, that's swell. So I was off last time and couldn't figure out why either. So now I know why I was off. But now I'm looking at it and I'm wondering where I should put that. I have some decisions to make. So apparently I had hid the line of summer daycare because I had considered that fully funded, and now some things changed with our situation, and I know that our summer daycare isn't fully funded, but part of me was going to just put some tax refund money towards that instead of continuing to pull it each, you know, saving for it here. But apparently I had hidden that line in my spreadsheet, and that had $50 in it for some reason, which is why this paycheck was coming at $50 short. So I am going to work on, you know, what it is that I'm going to do with that. But right now, so we'll either go towards summer daycare and I can continue to fund that, or I will put it in my cash envelopes to fund a different sinking fund, or I'll put it somewhere else on here. Okay, so that leaves, so with this is actually a total of 90 in this, in this sinking fund. So that was minus 40 minus another 50, leaves me with $220.81 left over. If I come down here to our extra debt, I'm gonna put that entire $220.81 as a principal only payment towards our final debt, which should leave us with a zero-based budget. So I'm going to come down here and check my math, because even though this is on a spreadsheet, obviously I can still make mistakes. Okay, so as we see, well, it was a mistake on the spreadsheet that ends up with a mistake here. Okay, so $220.81 is our extra debt, 90 is our total other category, sinking funds total is $649, $741 is our variable cost, and $1037.67 is our fixed expenses total, and then our total planned income is $2,738.48. So minus 1037.67 minus 741 minus 649 minus 90 minus 220.81, and that brings us down to a zero-based budget. So that is our planned ahead paycheck budget for March 22nd paycheck. And yeah, how far ahead do you guys do? Obviously you won't see this on the same time that I filmed it, but I'm curious, how far ahead of your paychecks are you budgeting them out and planning them, whether you do it like in a spreadsheet or on paper or whatever? I'm curious how far ahead of time you have a plan mapped out for your incoming money. I'd love to hear about it. until then, see you next time. Bye, guys. Bye.